What if I told you a piece of prime Kenyan land worth millions was stolen from the public for over 30 years? This is Kenya News Update today. Coming up, you'll discover how a government watchdog just clawed back a fortune in real estate, the shocking court ruling that made it possible, and what this means for the fight against graft in Kenya. Meet the Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission. For years, they've been chasing a ghost. A prime 0.79-acre plot along the booming Kangundo Road corridor in Machakos, valued at a staggering 50 million Kenyan shillings. But here's the twist. This wasn't just any land. It was public land, reserved for the Ministry of Health, and it was stolen right under the government's nose in the early 1990s. For decades, private developers held the title. But then, the EACC got a break, and what they uncovered will blow your mind. This is the story of a 50 million shilling heist and the fight to take it back. The land in question, Machakos Municipality Block 1623 and Block 1624, was part of a larger 1.78-acre tract. It was meant for institutional housing for health workers. In fact, a government pool house still sits on part of it, currently home to the sub-county police commander. But in the 90s, someone decided to carve it up. The land was unlawfully subdivided. While the section with the government house stayed public, 2 other chunks were illegally excised and handed to private individuals. It was a classic land grab, but here's what nobody's talking about. The fight to get it back took 2 very different paths. One owner of Block 1624 saw the writing on the wall and voluntarily surrendered the land. Simple, done. But Block 1623? That was a different battle entirely. The EACC had to go to court. Their target? The then Commissioner of Lands and the son of a former Masaku Town Council mayor. This wasn't just a civil case, it was a direct challenge to the corrupt allocation system itself. The legal battle started back in 2019. 7 years of waiting. And then, on January 16, 2026, Justice Nellie Mathica of the Environment and Land Court dropped the hammer. The ruling was crystal clear. The land was reserved for public utility and was never available for private ownership. The court ordered the title cancelled and the land returned to the people of Kenya. Speaking at the site, EACC's Director of Legal Services, David Tu, stood on recovered ground. A symbolic victory. But here's the part that will make you angry. This is just one plot, one story. How many more are out there? Stolen in the 90s, still held by private hands while public services suffer. The implications are massive. Some will cheer this as a win for transparency and the rule of law. A sign that the long arm of accountability can finally reach crimes committed decades ago. Others will ask, why did it take over 30 years? And who exactly benefited from this theft? The controversy is real. If this land was so clearly public, how was the title issued in the first place? The system allowed the theft. Now the system is correcting it. But the unanswered question hangs in the air. How many more 50 million shilling plots are still missing? So, a 50 million shilling asset is back with the public. Justice, delayed for over 3 decades, was finally served in a Machakos courtroom. But this story is bigger than one plot. It's about systemic corruption and the long fight to undo it. Do you think recovering stolen assets after 30 years is a real victory? Or is it too little too late? Drop your take in the comments. Subscribe to Kenya News Update today for more breaking news on Kenya's fight against graft.